Episode 1 of Detective Forst kicks off with a harrowing scene that's more than enough to strike fear into anyone. We see a man sporting a golden ring, roped to a chair, and soaked in blood that appears to be his. These scenes shift, and we see Detective Forst and his boss, Edward, heading to the mountains of Jaiwant to investigate a crime scene where the same man is strung high on a signal tower with a noose tied around his neck. Since Forst is one of the best officers on the force, he's put in charge of the case. If you haven't noticed, Forst is a bit unorthodox. He doesn't think twice about contaminating the crime scene to find evidence. His no-shit-taken attitude often gets him in trouble. We wonder, how has he managed not to lose his job yet? For some, he's a loose cannon, and for some, a genius detective. At the murder scene, Forst finds some sort of gold coin on the dead body and calls it a suicide. However, Forst does this so the killer can relax and make mistakes the next time he tries something like this. At the station, the coroner, after performing an autopsy, concludes that before dying, the man was tortured and killed before he was strung above the ground. Soon, Forst and others learn about another victim, a woman who's killed in a much more harrowing manner. Just like before, Forst also finds a coin pushed down the woman's throat. Forst finds Olga there, who believes the series of murders are being carried out by a serial killer who's desperate for public attention. He's going to keep doing it until he's caught, Olga says. Olga is also convinced that this isn't the killer's first strike. He has killed before. Forst decides to meet Olga for dinner to find out what she knows, but his superior takes him off the case. Edward says it's because of his attitude, but Forst knows he's been taken off because of Agata, Edward's daughter, whom Forst has been sleeping around with. Like Forst, Olga's career is stagnant as well, given the 3 strikes and warnings she has received from the ethics committee. They say she often fabricates evidence and pens false stories in return for fame and notoriety. Since Forst is off the case and Olga needs someone with access to police archives and files, they join forces. Forst shows Olga the coin he has found on the victim's body, and they head out to meet Forst's informer, who might know something. Forst's informer, a violinist in a choral band, informs that these coins have been sold 3 years ago to anonymous clients. Forst also asks another favor and requests his informer to find out if the victim had any connection to the crime. Forst visits the apartment of the female victim, Maya, and after snooping around in her apartment, he doesn't find anything but a photo of Maya with her grandfather. As for the other victim, Kalamoniak, Forst learns that he was a history teacher who often received death threats. Forst is also told that the man was last seen in Mountain Remembrance Headquarters, a foundation that maintains archives on historical objects. As the episode wraps up, Olga and Forst head to the location and therein find some old photos. The picture shows a bunch of guys in officer uniforms posing with the bodies of 2 people hanging from a tree. The episode review. The show's kicking off strong, and the way the killer's setting up the bodies hints that things are gonna get even more intense. It seems like we're dealing with a serial killer making a comeback for some public attention. But then again, it can also be connected to some kind of cult, using those gold coins to send a message. The photo Forst and Olga found in the building might just give us some clues about what's really going on. Can't wait to see how this all unfolds in episode 2.